Good morning, everyone. Kalimera. Pay attention, ladies, because today's guest is New York City's top plastic surgeon, who happens to be Greek and also an otolaryngologist, Dr. Theodore Diktaban, who has been providing impeccable surgical and lifestyle enhancements for over 25 years. Dr. Theodore Diktaban has been listed as one of the top plastic surgeons in New York for the 11th consecutive year by the prestigious Castle Connolly Top Doctors Directory. In New York Magazine as one of the best plastic surgeons, in the New York Times as one of the super doctors of New York, and Consumer Research Council of America as the most compassionate doctor. Dr. Diktaban, it's an honor to have you in our studios, and we want to hear everything about the secrets of looking young.
Well, thank you for having me, and good morning.
Well, we want to hear everything about your background. Tell us a little bit about where you were born and raised.
I was born in Flushing Hospital. I was there until I was the age of 6. I'm the oldest of 4 children, and after 3, my parents decided we needed a bigger house, so we moved out to Long Island. I grew up in Westbury, and I went through school, through high school, and then went to Colgate University and graduated with honors in biology, and then went to New York Medical College, graduated with honors again.
Your parents must be very proud.
a lot of degrees, and then 7.5 years of residency.
Wow.
And training.
Yeah.
And then practice in New York City since 1983.
I mean, it's a great background. I mean, you have been in the beginning. You have been there from the beginning of plastic surgery, and you chose that field early on.
You know what it was? It was having my own nose done when I was in medical school for breathing purposes and also for cosmetic purposes.
Wow.
And while I was healing, I spoke to the doctor and I said, you know, how did you do this? Because there were no scars on my face. The bruising went away relatively quickly. He says, go to the medical library, get this textbook, read these 2 chapters. So of course, at a medical school level, I was able to understand it to a certain degree. And I just bought in. I said, you know, this is really fascinating to sculpt, to mold. I can breathe better. I like the way everything, you know, my nose looked better. And so I geared all of my training towards plastic surgery with the emphasis on rhinoplasty, which is nasal surgery.
So you were in the forefront of this industry, and the methods have changed quite drastically.
I mean, things have gotten so much better in medicine in general. Number one, in safety. Medications react quickly and efficiently. Anesthesia competency has increased tremendously with technology and monitoring. So it makes what I do more comfortable for me and, of course, safe for my patients. So recovery is much quicker than before. There are ways to keep bruising down to a minimum because people, 2 questions that always come to mind. Doc, when can I go back to the gym? How much time do I need off from work? So those are 2, and of course they always ask, how much is it going to cost as well, which is an impact. But those are the common questions, and we can do things with less bruising, less discomfort, and, you know, pretty affordably, because you could do things in an operating room, certified in your own office, without having to, let's say, go to the hospital, where they unfortunately charge a lot for cosmetic surgery.
And now we're also seeing that the women are aging better, and the methods are not so drastic, so you really can't see. They're enhanced. They're not really drastic facelifts, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
If, you know, we age gradually, and if you maintain yourself gradually, then you're not going to have to go through, let's say, a big overhaul. So, you know, you can start off, let's say, maybe in your 30s. Young people will come in terms of aging, will come in for Botox, maybe a little filler, and then, you know, eventually you can transition lasers, chemical peels. The options have only increased. So I find my consultations take a lot longer because my style is, I'm not going to tell you what I think. We're going to have a dialogue back and forth because there's so many options, and every option has a trade-off. So I try to match your lifestyle, your expectations with what I think I can deliver in my armamentarium.
I mean, let's explain to our audience a little bit about what happens with aging, because plastic surgeons are saying that if you're over 40, you have to decide you want a nice looking face, you want a nice looking body.
Correct.
But that's not the case today.
Well, you mentioned 40. Yeah. It's the fourth decade of life when elasticity, the tone in your skin, starts to give. And that's when you start to see anything from the bags around the eyes, the little jowl, the looseness in the neck, and those things can be handled. In the past, it was either live like that or wait until you needed a facelift. So now there's non-surgical, there's minimally invasive, and then of course they're more invasive. I don't like the term invasive. It sounds pretty traumatic and drastic, but there are ways to be, surgery's gotten a little bit more kinder, gentler in terms of its approach and technology. So you have to match those things up.
Well, you have a lot of great methods, and we've seen a lot of your work. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about what are some of your methods that you're doing today?
Within the last year, there's this one technology. It's Precision TX. It's a laser, and it really works well for someone who has the early signs of facial laxity, in the jowl and the neck.
Oh yes, we know.
A lot of
we know.
No, you look beautiful.
Well, thank you.
But a lot of women.
So laser, this is what you suggest for.
Correct.
So your suggestion is this method that you're doing with this laser for women who just started seeing a little bit of aging signs.
Correct.
So tell us about this laser. How does it work?
The way it works is you have to numb up the face. So I usually give someone maybe 4 to 6 pills.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Just a few, a couple of Valiums, a couple of anti-nausea pills, and two pain pills.
And then?
And then we wait a little bit. And then I have to put a numbing solution into the face. And typically it'll go from below the cheek, the entire neck, over to the other side.
So this is a laser that you put on the skin?
No, this is going to go internally.
Oh, so you're opening up areas and it goes internally?
I make a small little nick. You'll never see it. It's not even stitched. Right by the earlobe, one under the chin, and one on the other earlobe.
And then you go inside, and what do you do exactly with the laser?
The key thing with the laser is the laser aims to the side. So when I go under the skin, I can turn the laser up against the skin, and I'm directly heating the skin. And the face is marked out in these squares. And each square gets a certain amount of energy that's been already quantified. So you're really shrink wrapping the face. That's basically what you're doing. This entire area gets heated. I tell people it's like putting clothes in the dryer. Heat will shrink, let's say, the cotton fibers in your jeans. Well, we're trying to shrink the elastic fibers and collagen fibers and stimulate collagen production. So if the skin will respond to the heat, and there's no better way to give the heat internally. So you get minimal bruising. You do get a moderate amount of swelling. So you're going to be out of commission maybe 3 to 5 days.
So 3 to 5 days.
Right.
So let's look at some of the before and after pictures. Let's see one of your clients that did this. And so, oh wow, it's a significant difference here.
You can see her jawline is a little smoother. She doesn't have as much of that hanging neck. And the next patient will show even more of an improvement.
How many weeks is this now?
That's like at least 6 months.
So this is the other patient. Wow, this is a significant change.
Now this woman had even poorer elasticity in her skin and was older than the first woman, yet she got a more dramatic contraction of skin. So look at her jowl.
It tightened her neck, it tightened her jawline.
But what I also did for the jowl, the key thing about the laser, as much as you aim against the skin, I can turn it down into the jowl, which is fat, and I melt the fat.
Oh my
So that's why her jawline looks smoother for 2 reasons. The skin is tighter,
and you got rid of the
and the fat is reduced.
And I don't see any scarring. So where did you cut it?
You'll never see it.
You'll never see the scarring?
You'll never see it.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a pinpoint little entry to get the laser under the skin.
So, okay, so that's this treatment, and this treatment is called?
The technology is Precision TX.
Technology Precision.
People kind of conveniently call it a laser facelift.
A laser facelift.
Right. There's no cutting.
6-week down.
There's no sewing.
Wow.
You just wear a chin strap for 2-3 days.
Unbelievable.
You can shower the next day. It really works well because what you're doing, there are lasers and radio frequency devices that you apply from the outside.
Right.
And they're very convenient. You go to an office, they put on a gel, and you do it. But the problem is getting the energy through the skin, because the skin is a barrier.
So it doesn't go deep. The laser is not deep enough.
Correct. You may or may not get deep enough. There is going to be more discomfort, and you got to worry about burning the skin because you can only tolerate so much heat.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Before you get to this stage of laser, what about a younger person who wants to do just a little bit of tightening? Do you suggest radio frequency?
That would work. You know, you come in weekly. That would definitely be suitable for someone who doesn't really need, let's say, the internal direct heating.
What about these other lasers that we've heard of, these skin tightening also that are used on the body? Do these
same principles?
Or same principles.
Same principles, like the same company that makes Precision TX. That was a version of what was called Cellulase, which I have for cellulite. So it works on the body for people who have the little lumpy, bumpy areas in terms of the buttock, the back of the thigh. It's exactly the same laser that I use on the face, except it's a different fiber, a little bigger fiber, and a little longer fiber designed specifically for the body.
So when you do the face, do you also do nose jobs while you're at it?
Absolutely. Well, that's my baby.
So this is what you're famous for. He's famous for nose jobs. Yeah. So let's take a look at some before and after nose
you know,
changes.
people are afraid, you know,
to
undergo any kind of surgery.
That is an amazing
difference. Would
difference.
Give them a drastic change.
But she's just, look at that, what a difference.
She has a very delicate face. Her nose was dominating many of the facial features.
Yes.
So like with most plastic surgery, you want to put things back into proportion.
Right.
So of all the operations, the nose, obviously is my favorite because it brings back memories from when I had my own nose done.
Yeah.
So
you can't tell you had your nose done.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So, right, and we, of course, you want people to feel better about themselves. There's nothing wrong with, doing something, I guess, to feel better about yourself as long as it's
I agree. I mean, you see the transformation. If you look better, you work better. I've seen the transformation. It could be subtle, whether it's someone's changing their body or the face, and all of a sudden they're like a new person.
Right.
And, they just go about life. I mean, the hairdo changes. There's a sparkle in their eyes. They feel better about whether it's in their relationship or at work. It's very rewarding. When you get that wow effect, it's like, you just like, I've changed someone's life.
So going back to fat, because, okay, we got the face out of the way. We know, ladies, that you could do a lot of great stuff today without really going under the knife, as they say,
Correct.
Right? I mean, you don't have to do that anymore.
Well, in terms of...
When should someone go under the knife for aging face?
It depends on what they want to achieve. If someone, if these people said, I need to be tight as a drum, then they should have had a facelift.
Right.
They should have, but a lot of people don't want facelifts today, and I understand why, because they see on TV a lot of these artists, actors, actresses,
horrible.
And you would say why they have the money. They usually have more than enough time to convalesce. They supposedly have access to good surgeons, and then people say, well, if they had all that, how can you look like that? How do I know I'm not going to look like that? So unfortunately...
Why do they look like that?
I think most of them, and I think of a few people that I've known on TV, like Burt Reynolds, Bruce Jenner, Kenny Rogers, Melanie Griffith. I mean, I believe, obviously I don't have
Even
access to their
Meg
Meg Ryan as well. I think most of them, the big change was in the mid-face. There was a technique that started to become popular in the mid-90s. I was jumped on the bandwagon. And you were able to get the mid-face back into position. But it did it in an exaggerated manner that the cheekbones, the width was a little too high, created a little bit, as you brought things up, created a little bit of a slant to the eye. Some people even felt it kind of made them look a little Asian with that slant. So it changed the look.
The whole face.
They got the mid-face up, but at a price
Like
that it
Mickey
changed.
Rourke? Mickey
Correct.
Rourke looked
Correct.
horrible.
So I've abandoned that approach for the mid-face for several years.
Gorgeous guy.
I did it. Some of my patients didn't like it, and I said, you know what? I'm off.
And was that permanent?
Pretty much.
Really?
So right now.
And silicone also was back in the 90s big, and silicone
you
permanent.
Gotta be careful. You got to be. I don't do.
Those duck lips.
I don't do permanent fillers. The only time I do permanent fillers in the face is if they have a permanent scar. But the face ages. You're going to gain weight, lose weight. Those materials do not change.
Yeah. Oh my
So if
God.
you lose
that's why
weight,
you look bad.
they may become visible. You may be able to feel them. So as much as people want something permanent, I'm totally against permanent fillers unless there's, let's say, a permanent scar.
Well, let's talk about the eyes, because we talk about the cheeks and the lifting, but what do you do about the eyes? Because Botox can only do so much.
Well, the eyes are the windows of the soul. And, you know, that's where most people, when we meet one another, what's the first point? Go eye-to-eye contact.
Yeah.
So usually you'll see in the upper eyelid, there'll be excess skin in the upper, and the lower lid, there's usually a little excess fat. Now, you can do non-surgical things. You can blend in the contours with fillers, things like Restylane, Juvederm, and Bellatero. I only use very forgiving fillers around the eyes and the lips. The cheeks, you can use a whole myriad of fillers of all different consistencies without a problem.
But we've seen also some bad fillers. I think last year, a year or two ago, we saw Madonna's very blown up face for a while. It looked a little funny.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that. I tend to go conservative.
Right.
I don't want to use too many syringes at a given time, unless someone really has a lot of volume loss. I'd rather have them, you know, gradually build up.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get to that point overnight. So you gradually aged. Well, I'm going to bring you back gradually. Yeah.
Very good. See, he's a very conservative doctor.
I am. When it comes
Trust
to that.
Dr. Diktaban. Let's go into liposuction, because that's still big among women.
It's the #1 cosmetic procedure for women and for men.
I thought it was breast enhancement. It's not?
You know what? It's looking at the numbers. They're like it's like first and second, second and first.
Right.
It's almost the numbers are so
breast
close.
enhancement and liposuction. Let's talk about the liposuction, because you're talking about getting rid of fat.
Correct.
Is there scarring?
Minimal scarring.
Does that fat come back? Because a fat cell, are you taking out the fat cell?
Correct.
And fat cells, we have to tell people, are always being developed. So they have to be careful once they have liposuction, not to, they have to be watching the diet as well.
You have to watch your weight, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different technologies. We've seen now the beauty of fat with all these stem cells. You're starting to see more and more in the press about stem cell technology. Famous people like Peyton Manning, I believe, went to Europe because he had a neck problem. He was getting stem cell therapy.
Right.
I mean, I think it's early in the game.
Yeah.
It's early in the game. I've been doing it. There is a company that will help process stem cells.
Stem cells for rejuvenation of?
Using your fat, fortifying it with stem cells. And the areas where I put fat the most will be pretty much in the face, hand rejuvenation. And what's become very big is breast augmentation with fat.
Really?
And because of people like J-Lo and the Kardashians, a lot of women are coming in for what they call the Brazilian butt lift, but enhancement of their buttocks.
So let's talk a little bit about what liposuction is, because from what I've studied, liposuction rather, cellulite, and why people turn to liposuction. Cellulite is fat that shows on the loose skin tissues in some areas. There's more loose skin tissue, so that fat looks like it's an orange peel. It's a
anatomical configuration that we've known about for a long period of time. 3 ingredients: bulging fat, thin skin, which shows everything, and we have these little bands, they're called septi, and they attach the skin through the fat to the deeper muscles and tissues. And in women, those septi contract, which then gives you the dimple, but they're also oriented vertically so that the fat in between can bulge. Women without cellulite and men who never get it
And why is it that
it's crisscrossed.
Okay.
Those little structures are at a, it's almost like a suspension bridge. They crisscross, and they keep the fat in its compartment.
The connective tissue.
Correct. They keep it in a small compartment.
They can, yes, can contain it.
So the laser we were talking about before goes in under the skin again. You turn it down wherever there's bulging fat to melt it. You turn it sideways to cut those bands with heat so that the skin will pop up. And then you use the rest of the energy to heat the undersurface of the skin to make it tighter and thicker. So we finally have a modality that can get to the cellulite problem. Before that, the technology was from the outside. They would heat your skin, massage it, kind of vacuum it in. It would create some swelling, and at best, it would be a temporary improvement because you didn't really change the playing field. You didn't break the bands, you didn't melt the fat, and you didn't thicken the skin. But it was good. It was an option up until we had this machinery.
Well, let's talk about the liposuction. Let's see some of your results from that. Wow, that's a significant difference. So tell us about this patient.
This woman, you know, despite diet and exercise, wasn't able to lose weight, and in the abdomen and lower back, and also in her thighs. And under anesthesia, in terms of like a cocktail, I've been using this cocktail where patients are extremely comfortable, but they're talking to me, whether or not they're on their their iPad, listening to their iTunes. This cocktail, I don't put my patients under anymore.
Oh, wow.
Now, when liposuction first came out in the 80s, then patients, because we didn't have the anesthetic techniques that we have today, you know, they were put to sleep. And you make small little incisions, like 1/4 of an inch, to get the instrumentation in. And the criteria really hasn't changed from when I learned liposuction back in the 80s. Healthy patient, localized fat, and of course, good skin tone. Now, if the skin tone's not good, we didn't have access to lasers back then. So you had to make a decision, would the skin contract once the fat was removed? Now with lasers, we can heat the fat and melt it, so you get less bruising, less swelling.
Where does it go when you melt it?
Well, then once you melt, then you have to go in and vacuum out whatever you've melted, and then you do the fine contouring to then give the shape.
Sculpt
And I remember one of my mentors, who's a plastic surgeon in Italy, Marco Gasparati. He said, "You must think like with the Italian act. You must think like Michelangelo. You must see not a block of fat, but you look at the block of marble, and envision the sculpture, envision the figure." And ever since I started patterning my technique based on his teachings, I've seen a dramatic results in what I can do in terms of sculpting the body. And I thank him tremendously for what he imparted to me. But
I'm sure your clients are thanking you tremendously because
you do
wonderful work.
It works.
You are definitely an artist in your work as a plastic surgeon. You definitely do wonderful things. What is some advice you'd like to give to women watching us today about aging?
Maintenance is important. Good health is important. Go to, a qualified, board-certified plastic surgeon. The internet gives a lot of information, but I find that a lot of people retain more of the negative things they see on the internet. They become more educated, and I can tell by someone's questioning during a consultation, you can tell they've been on the internet.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but I find that it scares people a little bit more
than it should.
Yeah.
Over-information. But what about skin creams? Are they enough? What are the layers that they can, how many layers does skin cream get under to be?
Well, they're getting better about, the penetration, all this microsomal technology where, they can produce the skin cream that can penetrate a little bit more. I mean, I'm a firm believer. I've been doing skincare probably since early 90s. That's when it became popular in the plastic surgical community. I mean, right now there's a lot of companies that have a lot of different products, But, you know, most of them always agree you have to have some either retin-A or retinol, and then you add other things, let's say like hydroquinones for bleaching creams for spots, vitamin C, a lot of these serums. And I subscribe to all of them, and I do them myself.
What about the retin-A's and chemical peels and microdermabrasions? Are these also anti-aging techniques?
They turn back the clock. The way I look at it, retin-A is kind of like a little fertilizer, a little miracle grow, because as we age, if you look under the microscope, when we're young and you look under the microscope, I think of the skin is oriented almost like a marching band. Everyone's in sync. Everyone's doing the right thing. Look to the right, look to the left. They're all in sync, they're all upright. But as we get older and you look under the microscope, you know, one cell starts to slouch, another one bends over, and then there's a whole progression, which unfortunately at the end of it becomes a skin cancer. And that's all from either stress, pollution, sun exposure.
The sun exposure, the greenhouse effect is causing 5 times more of the cancer?
Well, there's a lot more cancers. You know, melanomas, basal cells, squamous cells.
Because our ozone layer has been
And I think also detection.
affected.
I think people now don't wait if they see a spot. So we may be seeing more, but we're catching them early on. And like anything else in medicine, a little problem usually needs a little treatment. A big problem is going to need something, you know, a bigger treatment. And you always want to nip it in the bud as much as you can.
What
like,
about,
oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry, what about, just to close this off, holistic things that we could ingest to keep us younger?
That's an area that is growing rapidly. Just like the non-surgical technologies have increased in popularity for good reasons, people now are watching what they eat and drink. Organic foods are on the rise. I mean, I live here in the city and I'm seeing all these different stores catering now more to organic. Vitamins, herbals, I mean, you're bombarded constantly. And I think we realize now the price we paid with some of the fast food companies, the obesity rate in this country is over 60%.
There's an awareness, though. People are aware. They are very aware. Their diet has changed drastically. Also, the children's diet. Michelle Obama, First Lady, has done wonderful things with fighting obesity amongst adolescents and the teenagers. But we are more aware, and that's why I'm asking you, because there are so many vitamins or things that we could eat, such as acai, goji berries, vitamin C, for pomegranate, all that
ginkgo,
stuff.
Ginseng. I mean, I know it's, I mean, but you have, with the herbals though, as much as they are popular, we give a list to patients of herbals that you have to stop 1 to 2 weeks before surgery because they increase bruising and swelling.
Really?
Yes. Ginger, garlic pills, not garlic, fresh garlic, ginkgo, kava, St. John's wort, omega-3s, all the omega acids.
Causes bruising.
Fish oils will decrease your clotting, which then means you're going to have more bruising. So the list keeps growing. As much as they're healthy, you have to be careful. So when I see a patient before surgery, I want to know everything they ingest. You know, and of course, you got to be off aspirin and Motrin and Aleve.
And so where can our viewers find you?
You can find me at 635 Madison Avenue in Manhattan, between 59th and 60th Street. The telephone number is 212-988-5656. And all you have to do is have your viewers call my office and we'll offer a complimentary consultation.
Complimentary consultation just for saying that you saw Dr. Diktaban at Kalimera, USA. Doctor, thank you so much. We're going to have you back on our show to tell us about more new techniques that are coming up for anything that has to do with anti-aging, and we're all going to be listening.
Thank you, Yanna.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
We're going to cut to a commercial break and be right back for more of Kalimera, USA.
On the island of Antiparos, at the heart of the Aegean, Gaia produced an exquisite organic olive oil in limited edition, which traveled all the way to the US. The sales of Antiparos olive oil will finance 10 new and innovative Greek companies to grow. Buy today your bottle in reinspiregreece.com and support the Greek youth to move forward.
And now let's take a look at the latest fashion and celebrity news through the eyes of Katrina Mitzeliotis. Fashion director of the online magazine HollywoodLife.com, Katrina Mitzeliotis is an expert when it comes to celebrity fashion and style. Her commentary and red carpet critique on both national and international media outlets include Extra, Access Hollywood, The Today Show, Fox 5, and NBC. Welcome, Katrina.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, you look really good. Of course you look good. You're in fashion. You're always looking good.
You have to stay fashionable.
Of course. Tell me about yourself. You're born and raised in Brooklyn. What is your background?
My background, well, I'm 100% Greek American. My father's family's from Limnos. My mom's family's from Samos. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I went to Greek parochial school there, and then I went on to college to the University of Delaware.
Wonderful. And now you always wanted to be involved in fashion?
I always did. I was always interested in fashion and journalism, and celebrity style is just always so interesting to me.
And you do a lot of commentating, so we want to hear all about what's in, what's not, what we should wear, who's the worst dressed, who's the best dressed. But first I want you to tell me about HollywoodLife.com.
Hollywood Life is a leading entertainment site founded by Bonnie Fuller, editor-in-chief. She's known for glamour and Cosmo, Marie Claire, and she basically is the queen of celebrity journalism.
Wow.
So it's just an honor working for her there, and we've grown so much while I've been there. I came on 4 years ago prior to the launch, and it's just bigger and better than ever. We're always constantly busy, whether it's shooting videos for the site or breaking major celebrity news or interviewing celebrities on the red carpet. It definitely keeps us busy.
Well, tell us about 2013. What are we going to see for fall? And then we'll go into spring. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on this year. A lot of sexy stuff is coming back. The feminine is in again.
Yes, it definitely is. And we were talking about this. We love the 90s. There's been a lot of...
I'm a 90s girl.
Me too.
I'm so happy because I have all my old pointy shoes coming. I'm like, oh, I can open up my boxes. The 90s is back.
Yes, you can definitely rock those pointy shoes now. We're seeing a lot of leather, another staple in the 90s. We're seeing it in different colors. You know, it was hot for spring. It's still here for fall in so many different shades, which is really nice. We're seeing a lot of jewel tones, a lot of wine colors, which are nice. We're also seeing that 90s schoolgirl look from Clueless. We're seeing plaid skirts and thigh-high socks.
Right.
So we're even seeing it in that fun way.
Houndstooth. And
Houndstooth is everywhere. Yeah. It's all about the sexy silhouettes.
Sexy,
it can be,
because I think if you mix it with leather, you know, in a nice high boot. And,
definitely.
You know, I think it's a great classic look with a twist of
it is
sexy.
It's definitely sexy. And those knee, the over the knee boots, we're still seeing them. Nothing says sexy like that.
Yeah.
So we're definitely
and skinnies,
back.
A lot of skinnies.
Yes, we're still seeing
leggings.
a lot of leggings with leather panels, leather infused. Leather jackets are still really big, crop jackets. So it's all about that tough look with a little bit of an edge and a glamour. Crop tops are still here to stay, and they'll be here up until next spring too. So we're really about showing skin. And I also really like how people show skin in unexpected ways, whether it be an open back on a gown or a plunging neckline.
Yeah.
So it's really about celebrating that femininity.
Well, tell us about Hollywood. Which are the best dressed actresses and then the worst dressed actresses?
That's tough. There's so many stars I really love.
Is it their stylists that do it, or do they really pick?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the stylist really brings out the best in some celebrities. Some celebrities are more interested in it than others. But I think, deep down, every girl looks in the mirror and knows what she looks good in. Yeah. So I think it also comes down to that.
So who's your classic 5 best dressed?
Who's my classic 5 dressed? That's really tough. But, if we're talking about sexy, Sofia Vergara. No one does sexy quite like her. She hasn't met a mermaid gown.
It's also Latin American.
It's true.
It's like Mediterranean, Latin American,
it's true, very
Brazilian,
similar.
very
exotic, and they really always looks not a hair is out of place on the red carpet. Right. She just looked amazing at the Emmys. She wore a red mermaid Vera Wang dress. Her assets were on full display. She looks
and
great.
She's got a lot of assets.
She does. She definitely does. So she's definitely one in my sexy book that I always love. A personal favorite, always Blake Lively. She's a little bit younger. She doesn't do that much. She's the face of a Gucci fragrance though. She was just, in Milan for Fashion Week. She wore a leather Gucci dress. she really has that blonde bombshell status. So it's nice to see a young girl really embrace her figure and dress that sexy look that we really love.
What about Miley Cyrus? How do you like her new look?
You know what? I don't hate Miley's new look. I think a lot of people have a lot to say about it. I don't think it's classic or sexy at all, but I think it works for her. I think if she's bold enough to rock it, go for it.
No, she is. I think it looks, I mean, she's rebelling right now. She's kind of coming into her own.
I have to give her credit for that. I mean, anyone who's willing to experiment with style, and look at her, you know, she'll go on these carpets, she'll wear vintage Versace, vintage Chanel. So the girl's doing her fashion homework.
Pull it off. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. She has the body too. She's young.
I love
she has
her
the
hair.
attitude.
I don't know. I just like her hair. I think
I do too.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of a fan of Miley's style.
What about Rihanna?
Rihanna, you know what? Rihanna is, I really like it because this is the thing with Rihanna.
She's perfect. I mean, her body is
it's
perfect.
Insane.
Her face is perfect. Anything you put on that girl.
She doesn't look bad ever. And this is the thing with Rihanna. Rihanna does things that if anyone else did, look at what Miley does and how everyone talks about her. Rihanna can put on a dress, it could be see-through, puts it on Instagram,
Nobody
and
talks
everyone's
about
like, oh my God, Rihanna's amazing.
Yeah.
She went to dinner once in New York. She wore her shirt totally unbuttoned, tucked into a skirt. She looked amazing. I don't know how it stayed in place, but everyone sees it and it's like, look at Rihanna go. So I think she really knows what she's doing. She appreciates the high fashion designers. She has her own clothing line with River Island, big British label. So she really mixes high and low. She can dress street when she wants to and rock sneakers and jerseys. And then she's on the red carpet and, you know, she throws on a little Calvin Klein dress and that's it.
Right. How about Angelina?
Angelina's not my personal fave. It's nothing against her. I think, you know, that leg moment was great. She's she's a multitasking mom. A lot of times she steps out. I don't think she wears the most flattering silhouettes always.
I think she's just simple. I think it's all about just being, and she could wear anything and look gorgeous. I mean, that woman is just beautiful.
She is beautiful. I think my thing with Angie too, I'm a big Jen Aniston fan, so I think it's hard to
come
like
on, you're being biased. Come on now. You know, Jennifer Aniston, classy, beautiful, Greek-American girl.
Yes, I love her style. And she's someone, people will always say, Jen, always wearing black dresses and this and that, but she knows what looks good on her. She's a classic beauty, and she rocks it out on the red carpet.
Theron.
Yeah, exactly.
Charlize Theron?
Oh, Charlize Theron. I like her style. I think it's good. She's a beautiful, beautiful actress. I think she's so hard for her to look
We could
bad.
talk about everyone. So these are the good ones. Who is the worst dressed in Hollywood?
Worst dressed in Hollywood? Cher. Cher is definitely one. No offense to Cher, but I mean, I know she loves her wigs and loves her crazy looks, but I think she's a few decades behind. I appreciate that that's her signature look, but it's not my favorite. Christina Aguilera, you know, I think she went through a tough phase. I don't think she had gained weight. Now she lost weight. She looks great again.
She had a baby.
Yeah, so I think it's hard. I think it's hard too when you're in the spotlight. Look at Kim Kardashian. She didn't have the most fashionable pregnancy.
Yeah. I don't know about her pregnancy in general.
Her style is not my favorite.
Yeah.
I think Kourtney Kardashian dresses amazing now. So I think it's
Two more names. Come on, give me two bad dresses.
Two more bad dresses. Oh my gosh, this is tough.
You write this all day, girlfriend.
It's true. I'm trying to think even just based on the Emmys. A lot of the girls from the show Girls, it's very popular here. I think a lot of people like it. Lena Dunham. You know, she wore this Prada gown. It had tons of flowers on it. And, you know, she has a figure where she used to watch what she wears, and it just wasn't the most flattering. She's so talented, though, so that's why I really want to see her pull out a good look.
I know that we talk about girls all the time, but tell me a little bit about men, and then I want to go into the Mediterranean body a little bit.
We definitely have to
as
talk
Greek
about
girls,
that.
I'm a little different, but yes,
Yes.
We should talk about that. So men, tell me about the men. What is in fashion for men this year?
Men, I think when you're a guy, it's good to just keep it classic. A nice suit. When men, it's all about the tailoring. Because we'll see trendy looks, you know, the leather totally intimate for men as well. We're seeing a lot of different, you know, vests. We're seeing plaids. We're seeing all of that we saw on the women's runway. It also correlates to the men.
What I like that I'm seeing is the European very slim fit. I love that slim fit European look. I like that straighter leg.
I agreed, and that's definitely something.
Pantsuit,
yes.
and I just, you know, I kind of feel that I like that. I also like the same color shirt with the suit and same color tie. I'm into that solid
monochrome look.
Yeah.
That's definitely making a comeback as well. I really like, you know, when you see a men, exactly, it's all about the tailoring. You look at any of the guys who always look amazing on the red carpet, and that's what it is. It comes down to the tailoring. A suit that fits you to perfection and that really fits you. And it's nothing against Justin Bieber, he has his own style, but the baggy jeans, the underwear sticking out, that's not really the best look.
Yeah, give me some good looks.
Some good looks. There's a lot of young guys
there's
who
so
always
many
look
good
good.
guys
I mean,
out there.
everyone loves Channing Tatum.
Yes.
He usually
Oh
looks
my
great on the
God.
red carpet.
Oh my God.
So
He looks good in a t-shirt.
exactly.
So gorgeous.
See?
Yeah.
So there's the, you know,
I'm still a Brad Pitt fan. I think he's just such a chic dresser. I love Gerard Butler, the way he dresses.
He's a great one too. Gerard Butler definitely always looks amazing.
Yes.
I think with Brad Pitt, when he went through a little rugged phase, now he's looking really clean and sharp again.
Yeah, I think
So
he's
this looks
dressing
better.
along with his age. I mean, I think he's maturing so nicely.
He really is. I mean, he's very handsome.
Yeah, they're all gorgeous. That's why they're in Hollywood. All right. So, any Greek famous people that you like the way they dress?
Well,
Greek
Jennifer
celebrities?
Aniston, of course.
Talk about Jennifer. What about
She's
John
my
Stamos?
favorite. I mean, John Stamos always looks great, does he not?
Yeah.
Not
How about
only is he
any
so
Greeks
handsome,
from Greece that
but-
you like? You don't really
That's
follow?
tough.
Do
I do. I'm
Big
trying
singers?
to think. A lot of the singers, yes. I mean, I've been a huge Anna Vissi fan my whole life, so I think
she's just gorgeous.
Yes.
Again, another person.
Timeless.
Who could wear, timeless. This woman the time does not follow
Hate her,
her.
no.
It's like, you know, she's always young and fresh and well-dressed. I love what she wears.
It's very show-stopping. You know, you
Yes.
don't often see women who can really put anything on and go
She
for
can.
it.
She can wear
She does.
jeans and a t-shirt, and she's just a celebrity.
She has that whole
Sakiruva
attitude.
still has that look.
Yes, that's true.
He's just another one, you know, wonderful, gorgeous guy. Anything he wears. We could talk for days, and we're going to get her on board, writing us on her website. We're going to, you know, see if we can have her more on our on New Greek TV,
Yes.
giving us more information about what's in fashion. Katrina, tell me about Mediterranean bodies. What do you suggest? The pencil skirts are in, the skinnies are in, but what can a Mediterranean body wear?
I think, you know, you can try these things. It's important with trends, you have to work around your body type. Not everyone can wear the same trends. For a perfect example, those denim short shorts, everyone was wearing them all summer. Not everyone should be wearing them. So I think it's important if you have more of a Mediterranean body, you're a little fuller, you have curves, accentuate your waist. Wear more of an A-line skirt. You can wear a mini, you know, cinch in the waist with a belt, pair it with a blouse, really make your areas shine. So if you have a small waist, wear something that'll highlight that.
A lot of oversized coats this year, a lot of
Yes.
fur. What do you suggest for the fuller woman? Because they want to wear furs too. What kind of fur should they be wearing?
I think you should go for a thinner fur. There's a lot of furs that are just hand woven and knit. They have no lining.
Or sheared.
Yes.
Sheared, yeah.
So if you're doing something like that, it has more give to it. You don't want to put yourself in a boxy coat. You don't want to look like you're in a box. Even a great tip with coats, and with trench coats especially, add your own belt. Even if the coat isn't belted, you can buy a belt with nice hardware, something chunky, throw it on even over a wool coat. Anything you can do to accentuate your figure, I really recommend.
Tell me about hats.
I love hats.
There's a lot of bad hair days in New York, so we love hats here.
We need hats, and even the celebrities love hats. We're seeing the baseball cap make a huge comeback for women. We're seeing it in leather, which I really like. The big floppy hat, that wool hat with the wide rim, Jennifer Lopez, very J-Lo. If it's a cool day, you can rock that. The fedora is still in.
The fedora,
and
I
it's
like
very
the fedora.
classic. I like
wear
it too.
fedoras, I love it, yeah.
It's the perfect jet-setting look. You know, whether you're getting on the plane, not everyone may be going to Greece on the plane, but even if you're just shopping or strolling, you can throw on a fedora with jeans and a tee, and it really looks great.
I love that. Well, you're awesome, Katrina.
Thank you.
Where can some girls that want to follow you, where can they find you?
At HollywoodLife.com.
Okay, and we're going to have you back.
Yes.
Tell your family to keep watching New Greek TV.
I will.
'cause
They're
know
huge fans.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to cut to a commercial break and be back for more on Kalimera USA.
Ολοκαίνουριο κατάστημα στην καρδιά της Αστόριας. Τσακίρης Μαλάς. Τα καλύτερα και τα πιο μοντέρνα υποδήματα άριστης ποιότητας από Ελλάδα, Ιταλία και Ισπανία. Το κατάστημα που εξυπηρετεί κάθε ανάγκη της σύγχρονης γυναίκας και του άντρα. Τσακίρης Μαλάς, 3143 Steinway Street, Αστόρια, καθώς επίσης στο 7111 Austin Street, Forest Hills και 1206 Kings Highway, Brooklyn.
Hi everyone, we're at Telly's Taverna, the famous Telly's Taverna in Astoria. Now, Dianna is an amazing chef, and for those of you who don't know this great place, if you live in the city, it's just 15 minutes from the city, from 59th Street. jump on the N or the R. You get off at the last stop, Ditmars. It's located on 23rd Avenue between 28th and 29th Street. And Dianne is going to show us her specialty because Telly's is famous for fresh fish. Dianne, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
So I see you got everything ready. Tell me, what are you going to make us today?
Today we're going to make some fried calamari, and we're going to also grill red snapper and bronzini.
Now this is a Greek dish, Mediterranean dish.
Yes.
Okay, and in a Mediterranean dish, what is never missing?
Olive oil.
Fish, oregano, olive oil. Tell us the ingredients that
And lemon.
And lemon.
People say that if you want to just make Greek food, just add lemon.
That's it, that's it. So tell us exactly what ingredients will our viewers need to make this wonderful seafood dish?
Okay, for the fish, they're going to need salt, oregano, olive oil, and lemon.
That's
Simple.
it. Very simple. And fresh fish.
And yes.
So what fish do you recommend and how are we going to be making it?
Well, we serve many fish, many different fish, but I decided today to do an all-American fish, which was the red snapper, and an imported Greek fish, which is the bronzini.
Beautiful. And then the calamari is never missing from a Greek table.
No, no, no.
Or any Mediterranean table for that matter.
Yes. So here at Telly's, we buy the calamari whole, fresh. We clean it here, we cut it here, and it's all from the start here.
Wow.
It's not packaged or frozen or anything like that. So I just wanted to show how that's done.
Yep.
And a couple of tricks to make that and make it tender. And
so I know you have the olive oil, but I noticed that when you cook, because I come here a lot, you use soy for frying.
For frying.
Right.
We use soy for frying for many reasons. First reason, it never alters taste of food.
It never
changes. There's no taste. It doesn't change what the food should be. Second is there's zero trans fat in it, which is the law. But we use that. No, we used that before it became the law. But it's also a law for New York City.
Oh, wonderful! I didn't know that. Okay, so we are ready to see how to make this wonderful seafood dish by the famous Dianna. Telly's Taverna. Let's get started.
Okay. So we're gonna come in. We're gonna take the calamari and we're gonna clean it out. Why don't you do this, Roberto?
Okay, Roberto's gonna come. If you don't have a Roberto in the house, get one.
No, 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 no.
Come on, Roberto. Because I don't know how to clean this out either. Okay, Roberto, show us how to do it. So the calamari, it's very slippery. It looks, they have two little eyes looking at you, but it's okay, it tastes great, so we don't want to look at the eyes. So notice that they're always wearing gloves, guys. Okay, so Roberto, how do we do it?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, clean the calamari.
Clean the calamari. We're gonna clear out the skin from outside. He pulled out the head first, the little tentacles, and then he pulled out everything from inside. Looks easy. I don't know how easy it is.
No, it's pretty simple.
Okay.
We just have to always make sure from the calamari that we remove this piece in the middle that is something like plastic. So when you're pulling this part of the calamari and you're empty out the inside, you have to always make sure that you take out.
Is that the bone? That's considered their bone?
This is, yes, it is, but it feels like plastic actually.
Okay.
So then,
so we clean out the whole inside.
The whole inside.
And of course you're gonna find ink in squid.
Yes, because that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. And so, but you're cleaning out the outside of the skin.
Yes.
See how easy Roberto's doing it?
Roberto has a lot of practice.
Okay.
He cleans about, sometimes 400 pounds he cleans.
Wow, look how clean he got it. So Roberto,
he does
camera. Show the camera. Let's do one more. There. Wow, look at that bone.
So Roberto does this in, he might be doing this for 8 or 9 hours in one day.
Wow, so let's show the camera. So you clean out the middle. Oh, wow. And there it is. That's what it should look like. So that's it. Bravo. And now we throw all this out.
Yes.
Out.
So after you have a pound of calamari, this was a little bit more than a pound. It was about 1.5 pounds.
Okay.
You end up
With the tentacles and the body?
With this much, which is
wow.
less than a pound.
So that's what it ends up looking like after you clean it. Do we wash all this out now?
Yes.
We're gonna wash this out.
I'm gonna go wash this out. So we take the calamari and we cut them
in strips.
In strips. Not too thin. You know, some places serve them little thin. Usually in Italian restaurants, I think, they serve them thinner.
But we like them nice. You know, the Greeks like to eat them. They want a hearty taste. So out of all that 1 pound, that's why you gotta buy, you know, kind of figure out 1 calamari.
I would say here our order,
person, right?
Well, here our orders are, say uncleaned, it's about 2 pounds. And then after they're cleaned, it comes
to about a pound.
About a pound.
Okay, nice. So this is like a nice, a pound will be good for 1 person.
Yes, we usually serve calamari fried as an appetizer. It's, you know, more common as an appetizer.
Yeah, that looks more like for 2 people.
But
we want to stay thin. Okay.
So what we do is, the way that they are, we put them in all-purpose flour.
Okay, we got all-purpose flour breading.
We mix them around a bit.
Okay.
In the flour.
This is pretty easy, guys.
It's really easy. Anybody could do this.
Now the oregano and the salt, is that for this?
No, it's not. That we're gonna put on the fish. On the calamari, we're just gonna put flour. And a little trick is to make sure that the oil is very hot.
Oh, okay.
Very hot, so it's not gonna absorb any oil, and it's also gonna make it tender.
Oh, okay.
It's not gonna make it.
The oil. Make sure your pan is really preheated. How high? I mean,
you know,
how many minutes do you heat up the oil before it gets like?
Probably about 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay.
But also we have commercial fires, so I really don't know how it is. It's easier to explain.
So how do you test it? You just drop a little bit in, and if it takes.
What we do is we take a little bit of flour, and we sprinkle it, and we see.
Oh.
But so if that means, I'm so sorry. That means that would be hot enough. That would be hot enough to fry something in. But we want this. I'm sorry.
You're gonna be filled with flour after this. Look at this nice cleaned fish. Okay.
So we want it to be smoking hot. So we take it out of the flour so that not too much is on it. We don't want crunchy. We want tender and crispy.
But if you want crunchy,
just leave the more flour. You could actually, if you want crunchy, you could actually leave the calamari more moist, like pass them through water first, so that you make a crust on the calamari.
All right.
So this, we're gonna take the majority of the excess flour.
And it's ready for frying. We're gonna turn our backs now, and we're gonna turn it around.
Okay.
Okay, Diane, I wanna know if that oil is ready. How do we test it again, you said?
So we're gonna take a little bit of flour.
Okay. And the flour is dissolved?
See how right away it's gone?
It's gone. So when the flour is gone, if you want to test it, that's what we do. Go for it.
Okay.
And for how many minutes, Diane?
Less than 2 minutes. Calamari is
2 minutes. And do you, oh, you just, okay. That's
it. Shake it around like this.
2 minutes, guys. Μια χαρούλα. Until it gets nice and light brown and crisp, yeah?
Yeah, that's how fast it was.
Beautiful. 2 minutes and you got calamari. Fastest dish ever.
So people don't think that microwaving food at home is faster.
Exactly.
I was going to take the...
How easy is it to digest calamari?
I wonder, right? I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. We won't put this in. I'm just asking. You got her putting this up? Okay. That looks so good. That was so fast. 2 minutes. And all right, and here you have it. Only 2 minutes, guys. Look at that.
Here, just lemon and nothing else.
So dish number 1 ready. 2 minutes. Next. And we are done with the calamari. We're moving on to the fish. And so are we salted? We putting salt on anything?
No, we're not.
No salt,
no,
okay.
Not on that. In here though, in our oregano, we add a little bit of salt and mix it up. So, you know, the salt is heavier than oregano, it makes its way through there. Okay, so when we're going to...
I think this is every woman's fear, is cleaning fish. Me personally, I don't know if I could do it.
You could do it.
So how do you do it? You just cut, you scale off the top.
You scale the top, you cut off the sides, and then you take out the guts.
But you cut the middle. You cut the middle.
I just cut the middle because we're gonna grill it.
Oh, okay.
So we want the bone to be as most exposed as possible to the fire, because that's where all of the
cut the middle.
The blood is.
So the fire can so it can get exposed to the bone, so it would be able to cook through easier.
So on these, I'm gonna do both of them. We're gonna cut right down the middle where the bone is.
Nice.
And the fishtail.
And the fishtail, all right.
Okay, so on here, we're gonna take this. So we're gonna take olive oil, we're gonna put it right where we slit them.
Oh, wow.
On the bronzini, not as much olive oil because it's an oilier
fish.
And we don't want our fish to be dry, but...
So we're putting the oil right where the slits are.
Right where the slits are. And it's gonna work, it's
but
way
only
around.
on fish that's not so oily, yeah?
Yes. For a couple of reasons. First of all, we want the skin to be crisp. We don't want it to be soggy.
Oh my God, this looks so good.
Oregano and salt.
Hurry up, I'm hungry.
And then we're gonna
take it to the grill. So you got your fish racks, huh?
Yes. Many years ago, they didn't even exist.
Wow.
So people used to try and grill fish without them straight on the grill.
And what would happen?
Half of the fish was stuck on the grill.
Oh, God. That makes sense.
Yes. Or they would use those square ones that half of the things don't fit in there.
Oh, my God. And how were people cooking fish? They were frying it.
They would cook them in the oven or, you know,
but
cutting them in pieces. Okay, so we're gonna leave these approximately 10 minutes on each side. Now, in between the process, what we're gonna do is when this starts cooking, the fish is gonna separate from the bone.
Oh.
So we know that a fish is ready when the bone is completely white and kind of transparent.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's take a note of that, guys.
So we're gonna leave this here for about 10 minutes and we're gonna come back in 10 minutes and turn it.
All right, and in the meantime, what are we gonna do?
In the meantime, we're gonna make a few other things that we have here that people like to serve, to eat with their
that complements
fish.
This dish.
Yes, yes.
10 minutes, we'll be right back.
So we're gonna turn it on the other side. Try and separate a little bit so we don't want to ruin the fish eyes.
No. Presentation's everything.
They're a delicacy to most. My daughter loves the hide.
Wow, you're kidding.
So just like that.
Beautiful. Bone is
still grayish, red.
Yeah.
When it's white and transparent, the fish will be ready.
Beautiful. Now these are the tips from Dianne. You got to remember, folks. White and transparent, it's ready. 10 minutes each side. Cut the middle. And here it comes, guys.
So
after 20 minutes.
Okay, so this is the red snapper. It's hot, Yanna. It's hot, Yanna. Don't touch it. It's really hot.
All right. Look at the professional go. She just whipped that thing over. Don't do this at home. Do this at the grill. So she's whipping her out the...
Okay, so this is the bronzini. And you see how they're nice and crisp on the outside?
Wow.
They're still moist on the inside. But while they're hot, we want to put some olive oil and lemon on them.
Okay, so mix olive oil and lemon.
And you know how olive oil and lemon are when they're mixed together.
Oh my God, that looks so good.
So while they're hot, they're gonna absorb that to make them moist on the inside again.
I know you're hearing a sound. We have to put on the air because we got smoked up.
So again, we're gonna sprinkle them with a little bit of oregano and salt.
Oregano and salt, and we
put some
are
extra
ready to
lemon
go.
on the side.
Now this is what Dianne is famous for, fresh fish at Telly's Taverna. Easy place to come to, located in the heart of Astoria, Ditmars area. You're the best, Dianne.
Thank you,
So
thank
what are
you.
we gonna eat this with?
So we're gonna go and eat. We have a table set. We're gonna have some wine.
Let's go.
Fish, the calamari.
Follow us. And Dianne has set a beautiful Greek table. Nothing is missing. Dianne, this is fantastic.
Thank you.
What
so
do we
I'm
have
gonna
here?
show you. We have the calamari that we made before. We have tzatziki.
The famous Greek
salata,
spreads.
And this is, it's kafteri.
Okay.
So I can say that it's probably one of the most popular
Dish, yes it is. And we have
baked lima
Baked
beans.
lima
They're
beans.
imported from Greece.
beautiful.
They're not from a can or anything like that. We make them here.
Everything is fresh here
They're
at
dry
Telly's Taverna.
beans. So I'm going to show you, Yanna, an easy way to take the bones out of the fish. A lot of people, they don't eat fish because they just don't like the bones. So what we're going to do here is we're going to cut the head.
Deboning fish. Now you guys learned a lot about seafood today. So we cut the head and we cut the tail. Look how easy it is. So start ordering fish from now on.
So we're going to take the spine, separate it.
So we cut the head and the tail and we split the spine. We separate it.
Probably not the spine, right? The backbone?
I guess the backbone, yeah. That's the right way, you said it
It
right.
wasn't the center bone. So this all comes out, especially if the skin is crisp, it comes out very easily.
Oh, how nice.
Just
Look at
turn it
that.
like
Just
that.
turn it over. It's right there.
We're gonna cut out, like a triangle, the stomach area. Right over here.
Mario's doing it very
Yes.
well. Congratulations, Mario. Bravo.
Mario loves fish, so obviously.
And he knows how to cut it too.
So right over here,
And the other side.
there's a big bone.
There's big
that comes
bone.
right
Okay.
out.
Careful with the bones. I mean, it takes a little bit of practice, but it's not
Just a
hard to
little
do.
bit of
Yeah.
practice. If you've prepared the fish correctly, they separate.
It separates
very
right away.
easily.
See?
It's not,
There it
you
is. It's
know.
gone. The spine is out.
So over
Finished.
here we have a couple of center bones.
You scrape them out,
Just scrape them away. We're not wasting any meat here.
and we are ready to eat this fabulous fish. Fresh. Dianne, all your dishes are amazing. I love coming here. Everything is fresh, everything is fast, and everything is very clean.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit of...
That's probably the most important thing.
And Mario is amazing. He's always here to see this.
He loves to do
He's
that.
so cute. And cut our fish. Tell us about Telly's Taverna. It has a great history. You've been here for over 20 years.
Yes, we've been here for about 24 years, I think. In the February coming up, it'll
Wow.
be 24 years. My mother and Telly, actually, opened when we were just a small little place with a little backyard. You know, again, probably the first. So probably the first restaurant to have the main focus on fish. You know, there were a few other restaurants then in Astoria, but basically it was like cooked food, like Greek.
Yeah, it was more casserole dishes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? I was in Greece and somebody had said to me that a tourist came up to him and asked him, where is it a good place to eat, like a really good Greek tavern? And he said, New York.
Yes. No.
And he's like, I had to be in Athens for you to tell me that. Because
Believe me.
New York has wonderful Greek restaurants and authentic Greek cuisine. And Telly's is one of them. You guys, you gotta come and visit. And see Dianne, she's gonna take care of you all. This is a Greek, authentic, traditional seafood dish. They're delicious, family style. And thank you for having us, Dianne.
Thank you so much.
Mario's gonna come and debone your fish when you're here. Thank you, guys. Thank
And
you.
touch it all. So, when they opened, you know, it was a small place. Now we're so much bigger, and you know, so many other restaurants have opened since and everything like that. But our customers,
they are loyal.
Very loyal. Have been coming to us for 20 years. It's great. We enjoy what we do.
I can tell. Yes, fantastic.
Bravo.
We thank you again, Dianna. We're going to eat everything now. The crew and I are going to eat everything on this plate.
Καλή όρεξη. Καλή όρεξη.
Homeric Tours. Πάντα κοντά στην ομογένεια, πάντα με χαμηλότερες τιμές. Homeric Tours. Το γραφείο παράδοση που επί σειρά ετών φροντίζει τον Έλληνα ταξιδιώτη με υπευθυνότητα και του προσφέρει ασφάλεια και άνεση στα ταξίδια του. Homeric Tours. Το Α και το Ω για τα ταξίδια σας. Για πληροφορίες και κρατήσεις θέσεων, τηλεφωνήστε στο 212 753 1100.
And we're back on Kalimera USA, and now we have with us an incredible photographer and furniture designer. Costas Picadas is a well-respected artist whose work has been seen in over 120 magazines in over 24 countries. Costas' photography and design work is stunning, with its modern feel that is also reminiscent of his Greek heritage. Costas is truly taking the design world by storm, and he has with us today Cecilia Dupier, who is his interior designer friend and business partner on this business venture with the furniture. I'm very excited to have you here. And Cecilia is your business partner in the furniture venture that you're doing. Cecilia is an interior designer from Sweden, and you decided to partner up together for furniture. Tell us how you met and how you decided to move into furniture design from photography.
Great, thank you. I'd like to introduce Cecilia Dupier. She's my partner now in design. We met a year ago through a common friend, a great artist, Greek origins. Her name is Lydia Venieri.
Lydia Venieri introduced you.
Yes.
And from what I heard, the story is that you met her to photograph her house, of which was a cover on a very big architectural magazine, correct?
Yes, so Lydia introduced us. I went to photograph her house, and I sent it to a few magazines, as I do, and an American magazine to run the cover story. So I was very happy about it, and then Cecilia was very excited. She liked my way to see things, and she proposed me to collaborate with her in her new venture to design some furniture. So I get involved, and we design together. And 3 months later, we have something to go out.
Wonderful. So you're out on the market now with these wonderful cubicles here with gorgeous colors. And I see who chooses the textile, Cecilia?
Well, we do it, it's really a joint work, 50-50, and maybe I've been more of the production, and Costas and I have done like the design work, since that is like my
so
foundation
you have a vision
as a designer.
Together.
But yes, so it's felt fabric from Denmark, so very high quality. The color been very, very important for us to choose, and it was really to introduce the kind of completely new concept. I think as a photographer, for Costas, for example, very much of his work is to put a stage, and with this furniture is give a good opportunity to play around with that, and we wanted to invite our users, consumers, to have the same thing and to experience art and design, not just by buying a ready furniture, but also by the creation of it and the joy of the flexibility of a space. What do you say, Costa?
And New York definitely doesn't have a lot of space, and these are nice pieces here to fit in any home. So I'm trying to understand how it works. I mean, they're separate pieces, and you just put them together as you like, or people can get creative with your furniture? How does it work exactly? You want to show us?
That's exactly what it is. And it's not only working for small spaces, but it works to very big spaces. That's what we wanted. It's to have a multifunctional
use.
So we create
I can use this as a stand and just, you know, sit on. Okay.
No.
You can use as
Can
you
this
like.
be a couch?
Yeah, it can be a couch. I mean, you should really be able to create. It can be ottoman, it can be a couch, it can be a bed. We also do like pillows that are also adaptable, so they become quilts or duvet covers afterwards. We have interactive carpets as well that we do. And the idea is the belts are kind of the core that combines.
So it holds it together. When you put the pieces together, you put the belt around.
Yes.
Now, you guys should see on your screens, we're showing you guys some pictures of how these pieces look together. You should be looking at that right now. And this is really innovative. I mean, I love it. I mean, is this organic textile or?
Yes, I mean, they are, European, Scandinavian productions are very
organic, colorful, easy to use. You can put them together any way you want, and affordable. How much do these pieces go for each?
Around $400.
$400 each. So
yes,
in order
it depends on if you have it, because we also wanted to introduce. Wanted to do a very minimalistic line, which you can see the Scandinavian, very like pure, not too many details, but at the same time to kind of celebrate the American influence by the belts, which are quilted, and the needlework around some of the units.
And where would someone come and see your wonderful furniture, your pieces? Where are you located?
At Vassady at Grand Street. And,
Soho.
Soho, it's a new store, very modern. They have many designers around the world, including a lot of furniture from Italy.
So beautiful designs. Come down to Soho to check out all these wonderful pieces, and they're going to show you how to put them together. It's a lot of fun. As a artist, because you know that's why you saw what you saw in him as his vision. Let's go back to photography. Costa has been to one of the most beautiful homes, and he's done beautiful photography on so much architecture and people. And tell us a little bit about your experience as a photographer.
I've been doing this for almost 27 years, I would say.
Where were you born and raised, Costa?
I born in Yanna, which is the north of Greece.
Yanna, that's my dad's hometown.
I grew up in Athens. I finished school in Athens, and then I left to Paris, where I studied fine arts. L'École des Beaux-Arts, it's the French School of Art, and I studied art history. And then I work as an artist, but at the same time as a photographer. And I've been published in magazines since I was 18. I started with the Greek magazines, actually.
Wow.
As a correspondent. Then I moved on to French magazine, international agencies.
And now you're in the United States.
Then I came to the United States. I've been working with a lot of architects and interior designers. I've been traveling in different countries, in China, in Brazil, in South America, in India, photographing interiors and trying always to find unexpected interiors, interesting, new.
And fresh.
Fresh.
Old, new, and fresh, and yes, there's beauty in everything. I'm very happy that Zig is on the market. You can look them up on the website that you're seeing right now. And we'd like to thank you for being here with us. It's very exciting to have new innovative designers and artists on New Greek Television here on Kalimera, USA. And Costa is a Greek, and we're very proud. And thank you again for being here with us.
Thank you, Yanna. Thank you for having us.
Το United Brothers Fruit Market, γωνία 30 Avenue και 33ος δρόμος στην Αστόρια, έχει όλα τα εποχιακά κυπευτικά, τόσο φρέσκα και λαχταριστά, σαν να βγήκαν από τον κήπο σας. Ανοιχτό 24 ώρες καθημερινά, σε 4.000 τετραγωνικά, προσφέρει μεγάλη ποικιλία από φρέσκα φρούτα και λαχανικά στις καλύτερες τιμές. Και τώρα, αποκλειστικά για το United Brothers Fruit Market, τοπικές φάρμες στο Long Island και Upstate New York θα παράγουν για μας εποχιακά φρούτα και λαχανικά, όπως ραδίκια, βλήτα, σέσκουλα, ντομάτες, φασολάκια, αγκινάρες, κουκιά και όλα τα φρέσκα μυρωδικά. Ροδάκινα με γεύση Ελλάδο και 11 ποικιλίες μήλων στο Apple House μας. Στο κατάστημά μας συνεχίζουμε να προσφέρουμε άριστη εξυπηρέτηση, καθαριότητα, τιμιότητα και εξαιρετική ποιότητα και για τους πελάτες μας 15 λεπτά πάρκινγκ δωρεάν. Και μην ξεχνάτε, το United Brothers, γωνία 30 Avenue και 33ος δρόμος στην Αστόρια, ποτέ δεν είναι αργά, γιατί είμαστε πάντα ανοιχτά.
Welcome back, and now we have with us a successful Greek with an international career, Costas Pappas. Costa has worked on several internationally known feature films, such as Tomb Raider and Born Identity. Costa has received multi-awards for his projects in television, film, and events. And Costa's phone has not stopped ringing because he's so in demand. Costa, welcome to New York.
Thanks for having me.
You have a wonderful story. I mean, you tell us a little bit about your background. You've lived in New York and then international.
Well, I lived in the 80s in New York, came here for studies, ended up staying here up to 93, and somehow everything started from here in my life.
The magic of New York City,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
Plus that period, the 80s.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
80s was a hot period.
Yeah, it was a crazy period. Anything can happen.
So tell me about, you studied production, you're a production designer.
I'm a production designer that I didn't study any of that. I studied engineering.
Oh.
And at some point towards the end of my studies, I had a chance to get a part-time job in a company that was doing events, and getting in there and just seeing all this, you know, experience in this work, I really loved it. And in a way, I follow it. I followed all the way down. That time, you know, as an assistant next to big art directors on events in New York, and slowly doing small production designs for theater, friends with the Greek Culture Center and all that.
Everybody goes to the Greek Culture Center.
Yeah. Everybody, you know, all of us started
Anybody
from there.
who's an artist has been through the Greek Culture Center.
It was an easy way and things like that to do things that time.
That's great.
And somehow back in '91, done an off-Broadway. That was it was a co-production with a Greek company that time here by the name Komos and the National Theatre of New Delhi. And from that that's the explosion started.
Yeah. You also lived in Paris.
Yeah, I lived in France for about 3 to 4 years in between.
And you've done so many successful things in Greece. I mean, everybody must remember the series Deka on Alpha. You were awarded for that. It was about the Anaparastasi, right? You recreated the Piraea in the 50s.
Yeah, it was a recreation of Piraea in the late 50s. And it was a very challenging project for me. I had to convert all the area of the factories of Chropi into that area, and using the interiors of the buildings to create the houses and things like that. It was a very, very interesting project, but challenging also at the same time, because big sets, not a lot of money in Greece to do things. So, but it was the passion, you know, it was something.
Well, you do wonderful work, and you also had the opportunity of being on the set with and working for Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience.
So anyway, it was the biggest production that I've ever worked in Greece. It was 200, 250 people of crew in Santorini. That time was like my second production that I've done, foreign production. And it was interesting. For me, it was something very new, all right, to work with so many people and so many different departments and communication and things like that. Sometimes I was losing it, all right? But I just really, you know.
The Greeks pulled it together.
But yeah, just, you know, pulled it together and things
it's
like
that. It's in our DNA.
And for me, it was a great experience. It was really the experience that I learned a lot of how to work on foreign productions and things like that.
Bravo.
As I said, that has been helping me now.
How was Angelina Jolie?
She was cool. I mean, didn't have much to meet her. I mean, we've been seeing each other on sets and things like that. But she was very cool. Actually, accidentally, we happened to live on the same, let us say, village in Megalochori, since I come actually from there too.
Oh, you're from Santorini.
Yeah.
Oh, how beautiful.
Anyway, we will like see each other downtown and, you know, in the square of the village and things like that. Very simple. Once she's out of the sets, extremely simple person.
Wow. And Born Identity in Mykonos?
In Born Identity with Mykonos, that was my first actually foreign production that I got involved. That was a great experience also. It was a great experience working under Dan Vale and having Matt Damon. That was, I mean, really, he's like down-to-earth person, you know, great thing. I mean, he would like walk away and just go and walk and talk and eat with electricians. He liked it to be with the crews and not with all these stars. And
yeah,
all
he's
that.
a cool,
very
he
cool
appears
person.
very cool.
Yeah, he's very cool.
Wow, this is great. You've had such a great career. And now you're back in New York for a Chinese-American production.
Yeah, I'm shooting right now the New York part of a Chinese American production, and actually it's called Beijing, New York. So I'm doing the New York part. Mm-hmm. We've done the Beijing part, and there's a small part that I will have to finish by the end of December in South China. There will be a period part of the film. So
you've had the best of both worlds. You've lived, you know, in the best cities of the world: Athens, Paris, and New York.
I'm a gypsy.
You're a gypsy now. You're far from a gypsy. Tell us a little bit about what type of challenges production designers face.
Well, the challenge that you have is, the challenge is that every project is different. All right. Okay. Maybe a lot of us have a certain skills on period things or on high-tech things, but always in all of them, there's a lot of research. And always is to bring something new in this project that you have, something different.
How does it feel when you look on the screen, the big screen, and you say, oh, that's my design? I should have done this differently now that I look at it.
You're never happy. You're never happy. You always say, ah, shit, you know, I should do something else. You know, I should have done that or that or that.
Well, you did a lot right, because you've been awarded so many awards and a lot of commercials that you've done. I want you to tell us a little bit about the Vodafone commercial. There was some controversy around it.
Well, yeah, the Vodafone was actually, I started the Vodafone, designed that Vodafone commercial. And it was that time that I had a job in China and actually left to go to China to do this job.
And they were not happy?
No. And I left behind a friend of mine that actually continued the job. What happened was it went down. I mean, there was some kind of problems, political problems, because there was Kolokotroni who was talking on the phone. So on a cell phone. So anyway, there was parts of the government.
Kolokotroni talking on the cell phone.
So there was parts, of the political system. It was not me. It was the agencies. I had,
You just costume, just costume designed it.
Yeah.
And you also work with Costa, who's a wonderful guy, wonderful actor.
Yeah.
On a lot of his designs on the wardrobe as well as his theater set.
Yeah, I'd done with Kazako, Mr. Pudila and his servant Matti, a Brecht play with National Theatre of Thessaloniki.
Costa, thank you for being here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for Kalimera USA today. We're looking forward to seeing you again next time.